Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. It's time to experience what's possible. So, what if there's something you haven't learned yet that could change everything? Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions Publishing, where we are helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the amazing authors of one of our newest books. This one is called Stories, Tools, and Community for Healing Curious Humans. And I want to give a quick but huge shout out to our lead author, Natalie Peterson, for the massive and powerful mission she had to bring some of the most passionate and knowledgeable healers together to create this incredible community and this resource, you guys, of this book. I cannot wait for y'all to get your hands on it. And you're going to meet three of the co-authors today. I have some pretty amazing people here in my Zoom room. Silen Wellington is a writer, teacher, musician, composer, and spiritual mentor, provoking people to come closer to their authentic selves. Sue Bruckner is here. She's the founder of Tribe Rising, where she helps sensitive women interrupt self-abandonment patterns and love themselves better, one choice at a time. And Tina Green is a #1 best-selling author and master transformational facilitator devoted to helping people embrace the life-changing power of self-love. I love how y'all get grouped perfectly together. Like, I can't wait for this interview and these juicy topics, y'all. We're going to start the party off with Silen. Silen, tell us a little bit about the why behind your chapter.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Silen, and I wrote chapter 9, Becoming Possible, Finding Purpose Through Suicidality. And it's a chapter really about my journey through being suicidal for almost 10 years of my life and how I eventually came to see myself as belonging to the world. And some of the why for me in this chapter is expanding the stories that we have on how we navigate through those thoughts and feelings of suicide. For me, I was going off and on to therapy and on medication for almost 7 years. And even though those things helped me a little bit, they still weren't the missing puzzle piece for me in finding belonging and committing myself to my own life force. So I wanted to write my story to just represent more diversity in the reasons that we stay alive, because grappling with suicidality is a really existential thing. And I think the reasons that we end up living are as diverse as there are people on the world. So similar to that chapter title of Becoming Possible, I just wanted to emphasize the myriad possibilities that there could be.
Oh my goodness, you're kicking it off deep and well tonight, aren't you? So I want to back up. You said something about commitment, and I need you to, if you can remember, to repeat your words. You said, I committed to
My own
knowing,
life force. Yeah.
yes, my own life
Yeah.
force. So, you know, mind, body, soul, spirit, like when you talk about life force, when you realized it, can you give us a little picture, a little window into how that felt?
Yeah, nowadays I describe my suicidality as a period of my life where my spirit hadn't fully committed to being on this planet. And I know that's not everyone's story, or I don't expect that to be everyone's story. But for me, there was almost this ambivalence about living, this ambivalence about my future or what I could offer to the world. And it wasn't really until I was welcomed into different community spaces and where the deep darkness inside of me was honored as wisdom that I started to see that, oh, there are things I actually have to offer this world. My community needs me to offer tools, needs me to offer the wisdom that I've gained from walking the edges between life and death. And once I started to see some of the things I'd been through as medicine, as things that I could then offer back, it helped me really commit to living and, um, nurture my life force in a way that helped me see how I had a place in the family of all things, to borrow a phrase from Mary Oliver, to show that I had something that my community found valuable and they wanted me to live. And here's how I could honor that life force and honor really what I think my spirit has come here to do.
This is such a big and powerful topic. Thank you for going there. I mean, this is this book, you guys. Like talking to our listeners tonight, this is this book. And you all took that challenge I gave you to put the vulnerable stories in there and then step up with your master teachings, which is pretty badass. And Silent is giving you all a taste. We're not messing around with these topics. Silent, thank you for saying yes to this project and for being here tonight. So, Tina Green, I'm coming to you. Tell us a little bit of the why behind your chapter.
All right. Thank you, Laura. Thanks for having me here. And I just actually wanted to throw another thank you to Natalie too for putting this all together and for, inviting me in to be a part of it. It's been a really fun project and I can't wait for the book to come out. So my chapter is Lucky Number 13, and it's titled Guided by Grace: A Journey Through Surrender and Acceptance. And my why about that is that surrender is such a big part of my life right now. It's very, very present for me, with so much going on in my life and so much going on in the world right now. It feels like surrender, not quitting, but surrendering control, surrendering my desire to control things to has been really a powerful practice for me. It's given me a lot of relief, and it actually has evolved into a spiritual practice for me, because when I surrender something like a relationship, something that is happening in a relationship, when I surrender that and the outcome, I, to my higher power, it could be anything, but I have my higher power that I believe in and I have faith in. When I surrender that, it gives me so much relief um, in my life. And usually when I surrender, I ask for guidance also, and I get that guidance and things get better. It's been like more than a tool. Like I said, it's something that I practice really deeply right now, and it's particularly present because my daughter Grace, which is how I came up with the name and the title, has taught me about surrender, being her mother, and she's about to go off to college, 3,000 miles away. So I've had to surrender a lot lately.
Oh, that's a tough one too, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
listen, it sounds to me like you're talking a bit about detachment also. How does
Mhm.
that piece play into surrender for you?
Yeah, I mean, the detachment is really for me around control, because what I've discovered is that this is particularly true in relationships because it's really where I surrender the most. I can't control another person, right? And I can't always fix things. So it's a big part of faith, right? So it's detaching from my control. It's giving up control, right? And detaching from the outcome and really just, you know, allowing what is going to happen. Um and and I really don't know how it works, but but it usually works out great.
It does.
Because it's like a faith. It's like having faith that, you know, this other person has their path and is going to do what they're going to do, and I can't control that, so I'm going to let go of it, let go of the outcome, and and listen for guidance and what to do next, you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
there is a level of detachment and letting go and a lot of relief. That's all I had, a lot of relief from like spinning in my head or feeling nervous or anxious about something. Um, yeah,
Yeah. Beautiful. Oh my goodness. Our children are our greatest teachers, aren't they?
absolutely.
Yeah. I have a daughter who is one of my biggest teachers as well. I love that you're talking about that too.
Yeah. I have
Um,
two daughters, and one I describe as my biggest teacher, and the other I describe as my biggest healer.
yeah,
So,
exactly. Tina, thank you for saying
mhm.
yes to this project, for being here today.
Yep.
Sue, I'm coming to you now. Tell us a little bit of the why behind your chapter.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Sue Bruckner, and the chapter I wrote is chapter number 10, and it's called One Choice Away, Break Free from Old Patterns, Tools for Personal Growth and Self-Love. And there were so many stories that I wanted to share, and this one it just made sense. It's actually a story of how I came to really truly realize that what I want and how I want to show up and how I want to be seen is largely impacted by the patterns that I have. And so I was finding myself in one unhappy, unhealthy relationship after another. And that just so happened to be one of my patterns is that I date bearded men. So it started with my marriage to a bearded man and then goes, all the way to my current partner, who I call my kind-hearted bearded partner. This is really it's founded on my belief that the universe actually truly wants me to be happy and that I can design a life that I love. And in order to do that, I need to have my eyes wide open and my heart wide open to where am I getting in the way? What choices can I make that can open the doors for me to learn from joy as much as I learn from struggle? And so I just really wanted to share this. It's, a lot of little stories into one chapter. I wanted to share it because I'm not unique. We all have these patterns that we really want to break, and we can do it.
I love the reminder that you can learn from joy just as much as the struggles. And I think, what is it about that we're sort of conditioned into the one and not so much into the other? What Tell me more about that. What else do you want to say about that?
Yeah, it was a huge awakening for me, and I describe how I came to it in the chapter, but I had really taught myself that struggle was important. Struggle was where I learned, where I learned who I was becoming. It was where all of these lessons came from. But what I found from that is that I actually then accepted so much more struggle and so many more complicated relationships than I needed to in the quest to learn, to grow, to be better. And so I think it was actually, I was reading Glennon Doyle's book, Untamed, and I'd actually read it before, but I was going on a road trip with a man and my kids at the boyfriend at the time and my kids. And I knew instinctively that I needed this book. I needed her messages. And one of the things she talks about is that we can grow from joy. And I read that and I was like, oh my, I think I probably swore a little bit. It's like, that is exactly what I want to step into. I want to turn towards joy and find my lessons there and not be so committed to the struggle in order to grow. It just felt like a beautiful invitation, and I wholeheartedly accepted it.
Yes, I love it. I love that you accepted it. Um, my thank you to you as well for saying yes to this and being here to share tonight. You guys, I have a thank you for all three of you. I want to give everyone a little sneak peek of this beautiful book cover while I do that. So there it is, that beautiful rainbow colors. Thank you for taking that challenge I gave you to put the vulnerable story in this book. These stories are healing in and of themselves, but then you are stepping up as the master teachers you are and gifting us with these beautiful tools. And it's one thing to do it. You all coach people and help people every day, but it's quite another thing to get it in black and white in the book in a way that the reader can have that practical, powerful experience. And I thank you for doing that so brilliantly. Um, this book is going to be an incredible gift. So part of the book, specific part of the book, is about curiosity. And curiosity for me is a superpower of awareness. I want to talk about this. Tina, when it comes to the healing journey, how do you think about curiosity? Like, how did that help you on your journey?
Well, thanks for that question. Curiosity it's been a big part of my life. I am a very curious person, and I'm the type of person that when I'm someplace new, I want to kind of walk around and get to know it and go down all the side streets and just go into the places where they're a little bit off the beaten track. And it's primarily because I'm curious, you know? And so in my own healing journey and actually even how I interact with my clients, it's all about, it really is very largely based in curiosity, right? Because at a certain point, like Sue was saying, I have those patterns that keep repeating, right? We all have those patterns that keep repeating. And can we be curious about that? You know, and it's a big question that I ask myself, like, can you be curious? I had many years ago, I went to massage school and I had an Indian teacher. I can hear him saying it. He was a energy work teacher and he used to say, can you be curious? Over and over again, he would say it. But it just is, it's a level of open-mindedness that allows you to kind of see different possibilities. Like if you're curious about something, you can see the possibilities and you can follow that path if you want to. You can be curious. Oh, maybe I am codependent in this way. I'm going to go learn about that and see if that fits, or maybe I am resistant, to receive love or something like that. And I can go down that path and, but it all stems from curiosity, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for kicking that question off in that
Yeah.
way. Okay, Sue, I'm gonna come to you and see what you want to say about this. Like, this is something that I think all of you and in other interviews too. It's like everyone is saying this is foundational. Like this is the thing. It's why we have it in the book title too. you know, it's part of the thing, but it's showing up in different ways for everybody. You're all talking about it a little differently, which is part of the reason I love bringing all of your unique voices together. So, Sue, how about you? How do you think of curiosity in terms of your journey?
Yeah, I will say that curiosity has been a lifeline for me. It has been what has kept me in an expansive uh, or how do I want to say this? It's allowed me to be expansive in my thoughts and in my experiences. And the way I look at curiosity is that it is the exact opposite of judgment. And so if I feel I'm going into judgment about myself or about someone else, I know that doesn't feel good to me, and that's not in my integrity, it's not in my values. And so the very first thing I can do is move into curiosity. I can say, I wonder why. I wonder what's going on over there. Or I wonder why I responded this way. Or isn't that curious that this is the third bearded man that seems to talk a lot, right? And that you can feel it in your body. It just feels so much better than, oh my God, I can't believe I did this again. Or what a jerk. I can't believe he did this again. Right. It's just an energy that I want to maintain is one of curiosity versus judgment. Absolutely. 100%.
I love the pivot from judgment to curiosity. Man, that is a big shift. Like that's a life-changing shift in mindset. Yeah. Awesome,
Hmm.
Sue. Okay, Silent. Sometimes it's hard to go last on this question, but I know you have something to add. What do you want to add about curiosity?
Yeah, I'm just bursting over here with like, so, like, yeah, just humming like with the things that have already been said. But um, for me, curiosity allowed there to be more possibilities. I was at the end of my rope, probably worst self-harm, suicidal place I was when I learned about a what I called a therapeutic rite of passage dance camp that I don't write a lot about in my chapter, but it opened this other door into a different story that allowed me to realize that some of what I was going through was me trying to initiate myself. And rather than medication, what I really needed was guides and mentors to help me move through adolescence and into healthy adulthood. So curiosity, it allowed me to take this leap into a different story. And I think it also helps me just keep the reminder that it's like non-linear, that I keep getting to make meaning of my story, and that I can pick up and look at like, is this story still useful for me, or do I want to choose a different path? I was really resonating with some of what Sue was saying earlier, where there was a period of my life where I was like going to rites of passage and initiation summer camps like over and over again, like just kind of seeking those threshold moments, those initiatory moments. I really identified with sad artist tropes. And then eventually I was like, actually, like, do I have to struggle to like grow? Do I have to like be sad to write meaningful art? Is this story useful for me anymore? And having that curiosity really helps me embrace more joy in my life and, and more ease. Like I'm a Scorpio, so I love those threshold moments, but also I don't have to, go out in the woods and fast every time I want to have an insight about myself. So I think curiosity is just allowed for more ease in my life too. That pivot from judgment to curiosity and just asking what possibility could look like.
Thank you for that. I love listening to you guys talk about these topics. It is so great. All of the ways that you're talking about, especially curiosity, is just one of my favorites. We could talk about that for 3 hours, I think. Um, okay, but I want to give you guys a chance to talk about your tool a little bit more, kind of take it in the direction of that teaching. And I am curious to know if you were going to give the listeners really a golden nugget about what you're teaching in the chapter. Sue, you're first up on this one. What's that most important thing you want people to know about breaking free from those old patterns?
Yeah, what I like to say is it's my big fat claim that we are always just one choice away from loving ourselves better. And and then I like to repeat it because it's so true. We're always just one choice away from loving ourselves better. What that means to me is that whenever I start to feel less than or uncomfortable or angry or whatever it might be, while that emotion might be incredibly valid and I don't want to disavow it, I know that I want to go back to a feeling state that I like, that I is really just good. And I'm always one choice away. I'm just one choice away from going there. So that's what I like to teach through it's actually what I call my one choice away methodology.
Yeah, and that's oh, I'm a fan of this so much. We can take that moment and shift it, and with awareness we get the choice to do that any moment, any time, any day, any emotion, anything, right? Some days are harder than others, but
Mm.
but I love taking responsibility for making those choices. And then I've got the power back, right? And I don't have to rely on anything else except for what's in here to be able to make that choice. And this is pretty powerful stuff. Thank you for that. And I can't wait for people to read your chapter and really dig into your tool.
Thanks.
Silen, yes, you're welcome. Silen, you're up next on this one. What's the most important thing that you want people to know about becoming possible?
Yeah, for me, it's all about embracing uniqueness. And I want to bring in a quote here from Martha Graham, who's a choreographer and artist I really look up to. And she says, "There's only one you in all time. This expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and will be lost. The world will not have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, nor compare it with other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly, to keep the channel open." So I really identify with this quote from an artist's perspective and in listening to what is that uniqueness that I'm expressing through myself. And I wholeheartedly believe that every individual has this unique expression that's theirs and theirs alone that won't exist in any other time, moment, and space. So part of the tool that I offer in my chapter is a guided trance, which is a little bit like a meditation that I use in my spiritual practice to commune with my own purpose and to listen to that uniqueness. So at the end of the chapter, I invite folks in to listen to their own uniqueness. What does that look like for you? And to really embrace it. I had a beloved tell me once, and I don't know the origins of this quote, but the more personal you make something, the more universal it becomes. So getting so clear with myself about like what are my unique parts and twists and turns in my story, and how can I really honor that and express it clearly and uniquely.
I love those quotes so much. Those are juicy. How fabulous. Oh, I can't wait also for people to experience your beautiful tool. Thank you, Silen. So, Tina, what is the most important thing you want us to know about surrender and acceptance?
Yeah, I would say the whole idea of surrender, and the detachment and letting go of something, letting go control is not always very effective unless you're also surrendering the outcome. So letting go of a situation and saying like, I'm just going to surrender that, I'm not going to deal with it, but also being okay with the outcome is a level of acceptance, right? It's like by surrendering this, I'm willing to accept, that I'm no longer going to be a part of this community, or I'm no longer going to be working with that person, or I'm no longer, going to have my daughter in my day-to-day life, and whatever the case may be. But like the level of, in addition to surrender, the level of acceptance that I've come to about myself and about others has just improved my relationships across the board. My relationship with myself, and also my relationship with my husband, and pretty much everyone that's close to me in my life. So I feel like it all goes hand in hand, surrendering the outcome to, and, being in a place of acceptance. It's just, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just, I keep coming to the place of relief. It is just such peaceful. It's kind of a peaceful way of being, because you're not like trying to change and control and, and all of that. Yeah.
That relief and peace is a good feeling.
It is, yeah.
So, Tina, Silen, Sue, thank you all so much for what you do in the world and for being here today to share it with everyone. You guys, this is way more than a book. This is a very generous community waiting for you to reach out. Drop down into the show notes. I've got ways to connect with all of our authors. You can ask your questions, get support, carry on the important conversations that we started today. So go explore all that they are up to. And of course, we would love for you to hop over to Amazon and grab your copy of this amazing book. I've got the link down below for that as well. And lastly, today, everyone, remember your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.